passionate about following the Scrum principles and making sure that we have all these Scrum events. So the Scrum Guide tells us that Scrum is something that you should embrace in its entirety. So if you take following Scrum, you should follow all the, and we call it the 6 steps of Scrum. In fact, we've created a 7th step, which I'll tell you about later.
What are the 6 steps of Scrum?
So basically, the Scrum is Scrum is a form of Agile project. It's an Agile project framework, and the first thing that we do is we create a backlog. So a backlog is a list of everything that must happen on the project. We regularly, what we call, refine the backlog. So we prioritize making sure that the most important tasks or actions are at the top. And we regularly, like I say, we refine that. So that is our backlog, almost like a shopping list of everything that needs to happen. Then we have sprints. So a sprint can be anything from 1 week to 6 weeks. That's what the theory tells us. At Spatialedge, we follow either a 2-week sprint or a 3-week sprint, depending on what suits the project and the client the best. And when we start our sprint, we then move on to the 2nd step, where we plan for that sprint. So how we plan is, the first thing we do is we set a sprint goal. So what do we want to achieve in the next, say, 3 weeks? And then we pull from the backlog. So nice, healthy backlog. We pull from the top. So this is what we are going to focus on in the next 3 weeks. And we make sure that we also look at velocity. So making sure that every team member can handle what is assigned to him or her. And then we start the sprint. And then the great thing about that is we've got our goal, we focus on achieving that goal. Everyone is clearly knows what is expected of them in that sprint. Every morning we have what we call a stand-up. So a stand-up, exactly like it says, we stand together, we huddle, quick 15 minutes in the morning, and we want to achieve 3 things. So the first thing is we want to share, what did I do yesterday? The second thing is, what do I plan to do today? And the third thing is, if I need any support or have any blockers. Yes. So the great thing about that is it's a morning check-in. We want to eliminate further meetings during the day. So doing those huddles, that's when we answer questions, brainstorm, and have a quick check-in, and then we start the day. This happens every work morning of the sprint. And then during the sprint, we then actively move all of our tasks. We call them stories. So stories are something that needs to happen. We move it once we start with that, on that story, we move it into in progress. And once we complete it, we move it into done. We're very focused on code reviews and making sure that there's an extra set of eyes on everything we do. So we lovely buddy system, making sure that everything is code reviewed, and then we move it into done. And this continues for the entire sprint. And at the end of the sprint, we have a brag moment with the client. That's when we have the opportunity to then share what we have achieved in the sprint. Wonderful opportunity to get feedback from the client, alignment, celebrate what was done, take note of everything that needs to. They might say, we love this, can you change this? Yes. We take all of that feedback, and we then have what we call a retro or a retrospective. That's when we as a team get together and we chat about 3 things. We call it the 3 L's. So we chat about, what did we like in the sprint? What did we learn in the sprint? And what did we long for in the sprint? Step number 7 actually ties in very closely with step number 6, so the retro. So what we were finding is we were coming up with these great ideas, and we were just then, what we've implemented is we check in midway through the new sprint, where we have what we call a retro reflection. So that's a great opportunity for us to reflect over what we said in the previous retro and just hold each other accountable. So we said that we were going to do more of this. We said we're going to do less of this. Are we still doing that?